Welcome to tonight's live stream event, the 10 things you need to know before booking a Disney vacation. My name is Ryan Joy. I am a travel agent with Creating Magic Vacations, and one of my biggest specialties is Disney destinations, whether that be Disneyland in California, Disney Cruise Line, National Geographic Lindblad Expeditions, and of course, Walt Disney World. We are joined tonight by the Country Bear Jamboree. You can see him behind me. That's Zeke, Zeb, Ted, Fred, Tennessee, and Oscar. They're all back there having a great time. And you might be seeing tonight's webinar on the 10 things that you need to know before booking a Disney World vacation and thinking to yourself, why is Ryan doing this webinar tonight? Isn't he going to be giving away everything that makes him essential to vacation planning? And the answer to that is yes and no. I don't expect this live stream to last more than about 30 minutes, and I'm going to include as much information as possible. But here's the thing. Disney is always changing. They're always building a new ride or a new resort. They're changing their policies. So while this will give you a great baseline of what you need to understand, just know that there are always a lot of considerations and there are always a lot of things changing. And I can tell you what to consider, but I won't be able to tell you everything here as pertains to your specific vacation needs. But the good news is that I am always here. I'm always ever just one text away or one email or one phone call away from helping you navigate everything we're going to be discussing here tonight. So let's go ahead and get started with the 10 things that you need to know before booking a Disney World vacation. And so starting right off the top, here is a picture of Maggie and me at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. That's an event that we go to every single year, and it runs from August to about Halloween. We love it so much, and tickets for that event just went on sale. We secured ours and are pumped for that. So here are the 10 things, and we don't need to talk about all of them right here, but it's sort of your agenda of what we're going to get into tonight. Number one is going to be the time of year. This is the number one question that I get. People either come to me with a specific week saying, this is the only time I can go, or they say, tell me what time is the best time to go. So if you don't have a choice, then the time you're going is going to be pretty easy to figure out. It's whenever you're going. If you're flexible, then most people want to know things like, when is the cheapest? When is the least crowded? And my favorite is just, when is the best time to go? So I'll give you some of the answers. The cheapest, Disney is pretty expensive all year round, but they also run promotions almost all of the year. So if you had to absolutely pin me down and make me give you an answer about when it's the cheapest, I'd probably tell you between July and September, excluding 4th of July, excluding Labor Day. And that's going to be related to crowds. Disney is super hot during the summer months, so a lot of people don't want to go. And I think Disney has even kind of caught on to this fact because over the last few years, they're offering a lot of special promotions in the summertime and into September. I don't think it should also be anybody's surprise that Big Thunder Mountain Railroad just finished up its refurbishment. The Muppets are about to take over the Rock and Roller Coaster, and Bluey is making his way to Animal Kingdom just in time for this summer. So it's all ways for Disney to kind of boost up their lighter season. For me, though, the best time of year, if somebody were to ask me, is September. People don't want to take kids out of school in September. So best time of year for weather, that's going to depend. If you want it to be cool, then come December to February. But understand that you may not be able to use the pool at your resort. But here's another thing to consider. Do you want to see things like the park decorated for Halloween? Or Christmas? Do you want to go to one of the Epcot festivals? You want to consider all of those things too when deciding when is the best time of year for you. All right, let's talk about number 2 on our top 10 list here. How many park days do I need? In order to do that, let's talk about what's available. First things first, Disney has 4 parks: Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and Animal Kingdom. You're going to hear people tell you from time to time that Animal Kingdom is a half-day park. It can be certainly a full day park if that's what you have planned for that day. There are 2 water parks, Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon. Rarely are they open at the same time though. So really usually it's one water park availability. Then there is Disney Springs. Disney Springs is a huge outdoor shopping center and dining complex. So given that, that's what you have the opportunity to do at Walt Disney World. Now let's talk about how many days do you need. So what you see here is the most common itinerary that I do with people. It's a 6-night stay that includes a travel day on each end, 4 park days, and a resort day straight in the middle. And if you're looking at this and you're saying, what is a resort day? Well, a resort day is a day that you don't go to the parks. And that sounds crazy to some people that are traveling to Florida, but there are a few reasons that you do this. First, people get tired, like really tired. So after 2 full days at the park, you need to have some sort of break day. Also, you spent a lot of money on your resort hotel, so enjoy it. And then 3, there are a ton of things to do outside of the park, and it's easier to have a resort day than it is to squeeze them into your park day. So with this plan of having a resort day, you can go to a character meal at a Disney hotel. You can go to the Hoop-Dee-Doo musical review, and those things take a lot of time, and you're not wasting your money by sacrificing park time on a day that you spent money to go to a park. Now, there's a ton of other ways to do it. This is just the most common one that I had, but there's weekend trips, there's long weekend trips, there's 10-night trips, there's 2-week trips. This is just sort of the most common. Okay, so so far we have determined when we're going to go, how long we're going to go. Now let's talk about decision number 3 that you need to make, and that is what resort. We alluded to this a little bit when discussing how many parks, but you're spending money to go and stay at a resort. On just this slide alone, you'll see 18 different resorts, and some of these Disney subdivides even further. For instance, there are 3 all-star resorts, there are 2 Port Orleans resorts, and every deluxe property has like a villa section. So that means that there are a lot of options to choose from. And all of these resorts are correct for some type of traveler. The most common things that people look at when they're trying to decide what resort are budget, convenience, and amenities. So if it's a question of needing the absolute cheapest possible room, those are usually always going to be the all-star resorts. But I normally encourage people to spend just a few dollars a night extra to go to Pop Century, and then you have access to the Skyliner, plus you avoid a lot of high school groups that are staying at the All-Stars. So that's sort of your budget part. If it's a matter of convenience, I usually steer people towards the monorail resorts, like the Polynesian, Contemporary, Grand Floridian. But I also give an honorable mention to the Wilderness Lodge because you can connect to the monorail via a boat with the Wilderness Lodge. But sometimes, especially when the group is mostly adults or the trip is Epcot focused, I'll advise people to go to the Boardwalk resorts because you have Boardwalk Beach Club, Yacht Club. You can walk right into the back entrance of Epcot. There are tons of other things to consider. Big families that may want a suite at Art of Animation, romantic weekend away, you might want the Riviera. Dad wants to golf, you might want to stay at Key West or Saratoga. Planning to spend the whole time at Disney Springs, then stay at Saratoga, and the list goes on. So like I mentioned, there are all of these different resorts, and they're perfect for somebody. So it depends on what you're trying to get out of your park Disney World visit. To get things started, I normally can help people by giving them a choice of, say, 3 different hotels, and then I'll get their feedback, and then I'll know exactly where to go after that. Okay, so we know the time of year. We know how many park days we need. Now we know what resort we're going to go to. Let's talk about tickets. This is number 4 on the list of 10 things that you need to know when booking your Disney World vacation. So we've already zeroed in, like I said, on the number of park days. That's a big help. Now, what about all these different ticket types? Let's talk about them in terms of what they are first. The base ticket gets you in admission to one of the 4 parks: Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Animal Kingdom, or Hollywood Studios. It's a one park per day sort of ticket. The next one is the park hopper ticket, and that allows you to visit any combination of parks on a given day. So you could start your day at Magic Kingdom. In the afternoon, you could hop over to Epcot. And then you have the Park Hopper Plus. That gives you that gives you the park hopping ability, plus the ability to go to the water parks and play mini golf. But then there are special event tickets. Now, this is things like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, like we talked about already, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, Jollywood Nights. There are others, special after hours types of events that you can also purchase. So those are separately priced tickets. Now, I normally tell inexperienced or even the once every other year type of travelers to just stick with the base ticket, because you can spend all day at one park and be totally fine. There's enough in any one park to keep you busy for a full day. So maybe don't spend the extra money on the park hopper, spend that someplace else. But for other people that come all the time, park hopper is what they want. Or there are some people that have been enough times where they can say, you know what, I want to spend most of my day at Magic Kingdom, but then I want to have dinner at Epcot. So the park hopper is worth it for them. So again, depends on what your goals are for the trip. But if you're a new to Disney family, I usually just say get the base ticket. Okay, let's move on to number 5 in our list, and that's going to be dining. Now, Disney has actually already made an update since I created this slide. So for 2027, there's going to be something called the Deluxe Disney Dining Plan. But let's start at the bottom of this, and that's pay as you go. It's kind of straightforward, right? You just pay for food as you want it throughout your day. Now, the Disney Dining Plan at the top is a situation where you get one table service, one quick service, and one snack per night of your trip. Then you have the quick service dining plan. On that one, you get 2 quick service and 1 snack per night of your trip. And now, starting in 2027, we have the Deluxe Disney Dining Plan. That's going to get you 2 table services and a snack per night of your trip. So you have the decision on all those. We can run the numbers based on your length of your stay to determine if any of these are worth it for you to add to your Disney World package. But you have to kind of understand the terms of what they are and then how they apply to different restaurants in the park. That's dining plan, another decision you need to make. Okay, so we're halfway through. We've done 5. I've got a bonus one I'm going to slip in here. It's so this would be like 11, but we're doing it at the halfway point, and that's the memory maker. It's a decision you need to make as you're booking your trip, and let me explain what it is. These photos that you see here on the slide are memory maker photos. Disney has photographers stationed all over the complex, all 4 parks, sometimes at the resorts too. And you can get access, you can have your picture taken for free by them. And if you want digital access to those tickets, it costs about $190 to add to your package in advance. So that's something that a lot of people do. I think it's a no-brainer because you get the iconic shots like this one of this family in front of the castle. You get the Epcot ball photo. I usually always advise people to get this. Sometimes they don't, but that's okay. If you have kids that don't want to take pictures or husbands that don't want to take pictures, then you don't get that package. All right, that was your bonus. Let's go to number 6 on our list. 15 minutes in, and we are halfway. So as promised, I think this will be 30 minutes. Nobody ever likes to talk about this. It's the most boring subject in the world of travel, but it is something that a lot of people that have traveled with me have saved a lot of money with over the course of the time since I've been doing this, and that is travel protection. If you want to buy travel protection through Disney, it usually costs about $98 per adult in your group to purchase through Disney. And that covers, if you have issues or you need to change your trip at the last minute. You can also buy third-party travel protection, and sometimes that'll be cheaper. But it'll also cover things like your flights to and from Disney. So it could be cheaper, it could be more expensive. It all kind of depends. It's worth running the numbers on. But travel protection is something to consider, especially if you have kids that are sort of prone to illness, going to school and stuff like that, or if you have older people in your group that you never know what could happen. So it's nice to have. It's also a good time to tell you that if anybody that lives outside of the state of New York, pretty much there may be some other exceptions too, can get something called an annual travel protection plan. And those are pretty inexpensive, and they don't apply to just one trip. They cover a course of a full year, and you pay something like $330 or something like that, and it covers your travel throughout the whole year, whether you're traveling for business or you're traveling for whatever. As long as you're 100 miles from home, you're picked up by this plan, and that includes some medical. It includes, cancellation insurance. It has to be covered reason because it's insurance, but so lots to talk about when it comes to travel protection. It's just one of the things for Disney. It's a question that I will ask you if you're booking a trip with me. Okay, number 7 on the list is, how are you going to get to Walt Disney World from the airport? There are a few different options. Uber is always going to be the least expensive, but it is not predictable in how much it will cost, nor how long it will take. So to get a car, that is. And some parents also worry about things like car seat availability and such like that. So another option is Mears. Mears is sort of like a bus/van service that'll bring you to Disney World. I don't prefer it. I know I've helped some people get it, but it's not my preference because sometimes they stop at multiple hotels and things like that, and that all just becomes very annoying to me. But it works for some people, so that's okay. I love getting a private transfer from the airport. You're going to pay a little extra to do this, but they'll often pair it with a grocery store stop, so you could save money on snacks and drinks and stuff that might make up for the extra cost that you paid for the private transfer. Okay, so the next 3 things, numbers 8, 9, and 10 on this list of 10 things you need to know before booking your Walt Disney World trip, these are things that you actually do after booking. But I think it's also great to know about them ahead of time so that you can either think about it from a budget perspective when you're debating on whether or not you want the park hopper or which resort you want to stay at. It's good to have in mind what you're planning to spend holistically. So let's talk about some of those things. Okay, number 8 is tours and extras. There's a whole bunch of things that you can book as sort of add-ons to your Walt Disney trip. So things like Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. This is a princess makeover. There's a prince makeover, but it's predominantly a princess makeover for kids about age 10 and below. It is super popular, also super competitive, so it has to be booked on a timeline. Lightsaber build. Not only is lightsaber build misspelled on my slide here, but it is also a very fun thing to do. It's not nearly as competitive as Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, but it's something that you can book in advance, and it can be kind of costly. Both of these things are a couple $100s each, so it can be more than that. So the dessert parties are a special thing in Magic Kingdom before and after the fireworks show, and essentially what you're paying for here is a little bit of dessert, fine, but what you really are getting is the dedicated lawn space that's not crowded for you and your family to watch the fireworks. A lot of people like to add that on because it takes a little stress out of the whole fireworks situation. And then there's behind the scenes tours. These tours are not really for first timers or infrequent visitors of Walt Disney World, but if you've been to Walt Disney World 1,000 times, or you're really interested in the inner workings of the parks, they're a great add-on to do. Most all that stuff is a 60-day in advance type of situation. There's also 2 mini golf courses that you can go to if you have the Park Hopper Plus or just the Plus Pass that will be included with your ticket. So great opportunity there for mini golf. The one thing that's not included here, and it's not relevant to the 60 days in advance window, is VIP tours. Now, VIP tours are like the way to do like Disney, like a celebrity. They are, you'll have somebody that walks you around the parks, gets you skip the line access on all the rides, has priority spot for parades and stuff. It's very expensive, but it's something to consider if you are not a theme park person, but you want to do a theme park, or or you're a huge Disney super fan and you want to just get it all done. A VIP tour is a great way to do that. But it's something you should be budgeting for. All right. Next is the dining reservations. Okay. Dining reservations, particularly for things like Cinderella's Royal Table, and some other Ohana are super competitive. Space 220 is another one. When you stay at a Disney World resort, you have a 60-day window that applies to you the whole length of your stay. So 60 days prior to check-in, you can book your dining for your entire stay. The rules are totally different for people that are staying outside of the Disney bubble in a good neighbor hotel or a different hotel. They have to book, they can book 60 days in advance, but they can't do the length of their stay. So if you're trying to do competitive restaurants like Cinderella's Royal Table, or you're trying to do it, stay at eat at Ohana, that's where this 60-day window is super important, and you have to be on top of that. So not only do you have to know about this, you don't really need to know as you're booking your hotel stay and stuff, but it's something you need to know well in advance of arriving at Disney, because you've got to be on this 2 months before you actually go. Okay, the very last thing is lightning lanes. Lightning lanes are your skip the line service. And like dining, you don't do this as part of booking your Disney World package. It is something that you actually don't do until 1 week prior to your arrival at your Disney World Resort hotel. People are always asking me, and it is a separate purchase, by the way, and people are always asking me if they're worth it. And the answer is, if you're not doing rides, like if you're not going to Disney World to do rides, no, they're not. But if you want to do rides, then the answer is absolutely yes, because you spent all this money to go to Disney World, and you need to be able to get done what you want to get done. So I think they're totally worth it. Now, there are different kinds. So there is the Lightning Lane Multi-Pass, and that is going to give you skip the line service at most of the rides. It is appointment based, so you 7 days in advance will select 3 rides that you get to skip the line on per day, and it's a per day purchase as well. And you can go ride those. Once you ride one ride, you can book another one. So that's kind of how it goes throughout the day. You constantly be booking appointments to ride rides. The individual pass is for particular rides at each park. So each park has like this ride that's in high demand. Magic Kingdom has 2 of them, and you're actually purchasing a skip the line pass for that one ride. And then there's the Premier Pass. The Premier Pass means no appointments. So where the multi-pass and the individual pass, you had to book an appointment to ride the ride. Premier Pass is quite a bit more expensive, but you don't have to make appointments. You just walk up to the ride, you get on the, you scan your band or whatever, and then you walk on this quick lane. So that's a totally different option, but I like that if you just don't want to be dealing with the phone the whole day, you want the most chill experience, a Premier Pass is excellent for that. Okay, the other thing with this is, if you are staying on site at Disney, one of the Disney Resort hotels, you book your entire length of stay 7 days in advance. If not, you only can book 4 days prior to your park day, and it's rolling. So again, there's a bit of an advantage to everybody that's staying on site. So I think those are the 10 things that I believe you need to know in order to book a Walt Disney World vacation. Just to go through them one more time, you need to know when you're going to go. You need to know how many park days you want to spend. You need to know what resort you're going to stay at. You need to know what type of ticket you're going to buy, whether that's a base ticket or a Park Hopper ticket or a Park Hopper Plus ticket. You need to decide whether or not you're going to get the dining plan. You need to understand whether you want to get Memory Maker. That was a bonus option here. Then we talk about travel protection. Do you want to add travel protection to ensure your trip? Then how will you get to Disney World? Airport transfers. There's multiple different options there. Do you want to add any extras or tours like Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique or the Keys to the Kingdom tour or a VIP tour for that ultra luxury type of Disney vacation? Then your dining reservations, 60 days in advance. You'll need to be booking, especially those high competitive things. And then lastly, your skip the line service. How are you going to skip the lines at Walt Disney World? Are you going to do the multi-pass and the individual pass? Are you going to do the Premier Pass? Or, by the way, that VIP tour that we just talked about, you don't really need lightning lanes on that day. That's for sure. So those are the 10 things. Once again, if you'd like help with this process in any way, my name is Ryan Joy. I'd be happy to help you. My phone number is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. It has been this entire video. It is 315-212-9775. Feel free to text or call at that number for help with your Disney vacation. My email is ryanjoy@creatingmagicvacations, vacations with an S.com. Don't hesitate to reach out at all. And that is it for tonight. So thanks very much for watching this video on the 10 things you need to know before booking a Disney vacation. And I hope to hear from you guys all soon about booking your 2027 Disney World vacation, because those are on sale now. Also, there's plenty of room the rest of 2026 if you still want to go for the summertime, for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, or for the holidays. Plenty of room left. I'm still quoting people for those, so feel free to reach out regardless of when you want to go. We are open through Halloween of 2027. So there you go. Have a great night. Life is short. Eat a cookie, have a pizza, go on a vacation.